welcome back to the Izzy and Alex show. Before we get into this very exciting episode, make sure you check us all out on Spotify as well as YouTube, as well as all our socials. They'll be linked below. But today we've got a very exciting guest with us. Welcome, Paul Danan. How are you?
Hi. Thank you for having me on. You've got a very sweaty Paul Danan because we're currently in the midst of a heat wave. So apologies.
No, don't worry. No, it's crazy. I think it got to about 40 earlier. I can't believe it.
Really? Yeah. I don't know. We're just not used to this, you know?
No, we're not.
And I like sunbathing, I really do. But I tried it out there and it's just not even enjoyable.
It's like
We're not near water.
Yeah.
God, it's crazy. But yeah, we've got some good questions lined up for you today. We'll just have a little chat.
Okay.
So we just wanted to start with so you're very well known for your acting. You were in Hollyoaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get into all of that?
Well, I basically went to drama school to the Italia Conti Academy of Theatre Arts in London at the Barbican, and I always wanted to act really, because when I was younger I got a little part on EastEnders. First of all, it was just like riding around on a bike round the square, playing with Ethel's dog Willie, which was quite funny. I don't know if you ever even know who Ethel is, but she was Dot Cotton's friend, and I just knew that I felt really comfortable doing that type of thing. And then they asked me back, and I played like a clubber that took an ecstasy tablet, and I went all a bit skewiff, and that was cool. But I did get the end dum 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 at the end, which was kind of pretty awesome. And then that was it. I was like, Mum, I need to go to drama school. And she's like, no, you need to do your GCSEs. So I did them, and then I auditioned for Italia Conti. And my dad said, all right, it's very expensive, but he worked his arse off. And I went there and I did a performing arts degree. And when I came out, I kind of knew that I needed to get a good agent, and I went to Sylvia Young, and she had an adult agency. And within about 3 months, there was this new soap came out that was a bit like 90210, Beverly Hills 90210, but like a British version. And it was all good-looking people, lots of, all like young teenagers, kind of living in this village called Hollyoaks, and based in Chester. And I was like, wow, that looks cool. And suddenly I get an audition for to play this new bad boy part of this family, this Patrick family. And I was studying method acting at the time. So I was really getting into my characters and all that. And, I wanted to be like the next De Niro. And I think the casting director liked the way I was warming up, and she said to her daughter, oh, that's a real actor over there. And I was like, I didn't know that until later on when I got the part and they told me. And I got, whittled down to I don't know, it was out of a lot of people. I got down to the last 10, and then I got a phone call. I just literally, I think, split up with the first love, real love of my, well, I thought it was love, who knows, but real serious first girlfriend anyway. I was 17. No, maybe I was a bit older, about 18, 19, something like that. And they said, Sylvia said to me, you've got to go back up to Liverpool tomorrow. You're down to the final 10. It's going to, they're going to see whether that you're going to get the part. You're going to go for it. So kind of was there all day, and people were coming and going and trying to match the family, because it was this whole family. They needed the mum and the sister and me, the brother, soul, and they kept saying, no, you stay. And it was like, oh my God, what's happening? I was like, all right, bye, mate. Well done. So the next minute they're like, right, we want you in the Dog in the Pond. Phil Redmond, the creator, walks in, all right there, mate. And he's like, okay, I want you to, you're running from the police, and you come in, and your mom's really, really angry at you or whatever, and action. And I was like, oh my God, right, so just went for it. And like, it was amazing. It was just pure, like, the best acting ever. She slaps me, she's crying, I'm crying, everyone's crying. And you could just see his face, and you just knew he had found Soul. He had found who he wanted. But I wasn't sure. And we get on the train back to London, and then the next day I get a phone call saying, pack your bags, you got Hollyoaks, you're now a lead role. 19 years old. It's like, what? My whole life had changed. And it was the greatest moment, honestly, because, I used to always get close to things, but never quite get them. And that was a real achievement. And I loved it. And I was up there for 4 years. And yeah, it was some of the best times of my life.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. And would you obviously Hollyoaks is still doing really well at the moment.
Yeah.
Would you ever go back to it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's such a good show. Like, if they ever asked me, I would. But I think they're a bit funny about, like, I don't know. I'm not saying they're fussy, because they pretty much had everyone back apart from me. But I think they're just waiting for the right storyline and the right moment.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in Spain, and if he comes back, he'll be wanted for murder. But it doesn't matter. It's a soap.
Just hope.
Exactly.
Stranger things have
I
happened.
didn't die.
Yeah. And even if you did, they'd probably still send you back.
Oh, no.
Kathleen.
That's so true.
Oh, they're busy writing your storyline for you. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like, it's fine if it doesn't happen, but it would be an incredible thing. It just depends really what they're after, but like, Darren's still in it. Osborne, he's still my stepbrother, and Jack is like my stepdad, and so there's family still there. It just depends.
Yeah. So alongside acting, you've also done a lot of reality TV. One of them being
For my sins.
Celeb Love Island. So
Yeah.
Love Island's obviously on at the minute. It's still really popular now. But what was it like when you did it? Has it changed much since then, would you say? Or tell us about that.
Yeah, I think it's very different now. I think back then we were kind of just left to ourselves. We didn't really even see any cameras. We might have heard someone behind a black cloth sneezing, or like, remind us that because you'd see a camera in a palm tree or something. But we were never told what to do, or who to date, or who to chat up, or who to row with. Now it's so different. There's a director. I think it's a lot more kind of hands-on. We were just left on an island, and they were on another island, and we were in Fiji. So, like, these islands are like, they're mad. They're just like, I don't know if you've seen what the Fiji Islands are like, but they're pretty big, and like, so we never were near the crew. Everything was stationary. It was all set up, and the only person we ever spoke to was, well, we never really got to see them. It was like a Big Brother thing. You'd get called to a beach hut, which was like the diary room, and you would chat if you needed something or whatever, or you would do an interview and talk about the day or whatever. But we were really left to our own devices, and whatever happened. We weren't made to fall in love with anyone. We weren't made to couple up as such. And now it's a lot different. You have to be in a couple. It's like, new people come on, which we had, but we were fed a lot of booze. It was all just mental, and I think that's real. That's reality, because there was nothing contrived. Now it's not quite reality.
Yes, they definitely have more of a structure now, because it's interesting hearing you talk about that, because a lot of people I've watched on podcasts that have been on it recently, they've said they will say stories like, oh yeah, the producers, they told me off for doing this, and it sounds a lot more, I guess, controlled in a sense.
Controlled, and I think half of it maybe is because they have a storyline in mind of who should go with who and what should happen, but that's not real. That's their vision. That's like, you've got to trust that organically things will happen. And I don't think they're really showing as many rows or things like that. They try and make it a lot more PC, and I think they just have to be a lot more careful because of what's happened, with with certain contestants and obviously Caroline.
Speaking of Caroline Flack, you're going to be taking part in Flackstock, which is on the 25th of July. Do you want to say any more about it?
Yeah, I mean, it is unbelievable to be on that headline. Is just unreal to be asked to join such amazing people that all knew Caroline and were close to her, and that basically all want to help and raise money for mental health. It's just so close to my heart, and you know, I just still can't actually believe that she's gone, and it is really quite surreal, you know. You know, her, Keith Flint from The Prodigy, who I'm really close with, and they're playing their gigs next week. This week. God, Thursday I'm going, you know, and I don't know how weird that's going to be for Keith to not be there, you know, and then on Monday to go there and to just see everything around Caroline and her not to be here in this world anymore. It's kind of really, really sad, and really, you know, we have to do more. We have to do more to help. So I'm going to be up there introducing some bands. I'm doing some stuff with Rylan. That's exclusive to you. And yeah, love Rylan. Rylan Clark is amazing. And then I'm going to be doing something really special with Keith Lemon, which is going to be funny. So that's just, you know, just to be alongside those guys, I feel really honoured. So, yeah, please, if you haven't got your ticket now, flackstock.com, go get a ticket. You know, all the money goes to Mind and to the Samaritans and to all the people that help people that are struggling with mental health and suicide and, you know, and addiction problems.
Definitely. No, it's amazing that they're doing something like that, and how much that means to you as well to be.
Yeah, I mean, I remember being with Caroline when they invited me to the new Love Island. I got to go to Palma, to Mallorca, where they were doing it, the new one, 10 years on, and it was the first one that they were doing, and 10 years after the original Celebrity one, and she was the host, and they did a whole montage on me and she just, you know, was like, if it weren't for you, Paul, Love Island wouldn't exist. Like, we would never have done it again. You were Love Island. That's why we had to fly you out. And like, it was just so amazing how they really kind of saw me as like that pinnacle of that show. And it's funny because a lot of the newbies, they don't even know me, but they don't even, you know, they weren't even aware of it. Of how lucky they are to be, you know, and it still be going and so successful. I don't see it like that. I don't think, it's all because, you know, I you know, I made a good splash and got some good ratings, but that's just me, isn't it?
Yeah, no, they should do their history, Paul. They should do their history.
Yeah.
So obviously mental health and things like that are really important to you, so much so that you've got a theatre company called The Morning After, and also a podcast named after that. Would you mind just like saying a little bit more about sort of what that encompasses, both of those?
Yeah, of course. So the Morning After podcast started about 5 years ago, maybe a bit longer, and it was just basically Sam Delaney is a guy that he's a presenter and does a lot of radio, and had his own show on RT, which was called News Thing, and he used to cover like political stuff, culture, this, that, and the other. He used to always get me on because he'd think that I was quite funny with my answers, because I'm not like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain. I'm clever, but not in the obvious clever way, like more in the creative way. And so when they were talking about politics and stuff, I didn't really know what they were on, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting next to like, who was it? I don't know, some big MPs basically, and some old, and you know, and it was just so diverse. And I think I always told stories about my crazy nights and stuff, you know, hence why I've got a big parody account, which I am part of, called the Paul Danan Official Dananogram, which talks a lot about back in the day, but it's a lot kind of made up stuff, but it's like people saw me as that center of the noughties and the 90s and that era, you know. And Sam just said, man, you got so many stories, you got to do a podcast, and I want you to, because I used to go on talk radio a lot and stuff, and he did the Drive Time show and with Eamon Holmes as well, and they just said, like, you got to do something. So they commissioned me to start this podcast, and the more I did it, the more I told stories, the more it kind of like slowly went into more stuff about like how I struggled, you know, and how things got a bit tough through the years. And yeah, all the partying and all the jokes and getting drunk and high were a laugh, but then there was consequences. And the more I kind of eased up and realised that it's good to talk and it's good to share stuff, I started to open up. And the more I got an audience and people started to be able to relate, and I started to get emails and they were like, you've really helped me, or whatever, or I can really relate to you, or when I watched you on that, I knew what you were going through, because that's what I'm like when I'm pissed or whatever. And you know, and I was just like always afraid to tell the truth of what was really going on with me. But then the more I did, the more it was kind of therapeutic and cathartic and helped others, because they saw me as like just a normal guy. And it was lovely. And I think that gave me more strength to be more open. And then over the time, Mark, my producer, just used to get it out of me. And I forgot that there was even anyone listening. I just would be like, just chat, you know? So yeah, the morning after came from that, and the podcast has done really well. We got #1 in the iTunes charts at one point and things like that. And yeah, it's a good following. And then I was working for the Amy Winehouse Foundation a bit, going into schools, talking to kids and, you know, trying to get them to not go down the wrong road. And then I realized that instead of just telling them my story, I wanted them to get up and actually like put themselves in scenarios like where they could act out scenes where they might find themselves in the park, someone passes them a joint or a drink, or peer pressures them into taking something. And when you role play that you can do different outcomes, and actually they can realize that they don't have to say yes, they don't have to go down that road. And I saw that there was something within acting and drama that was kind of helpful for people to first of all build their confidence, second of all explore their behaviors, and third of all realize that they don't need to do that. And when they see it in the flesh and they act it out, they're like, wow, it really is effective. So when I stopped working for the Amy Winehouse Foundation, even though I still do stuff for them, over lockdown, I wanted to build my own school, and I moved to Bristol, and I went to the local drug and alcohol services, and they loved the idea, and they said, come on then, let's do it. And so I opened it up, and it's just been unbelievable. And now we're in Bristol, London, Oxford, Weston-super-Mare, and soon to be maybe up north as well. So like it has just, and I'm working with people on probation, prisoners, people with like Tourette's, people that have just got like really bad anxiety or addiction problems, but want to be in recovery. And from lockdown, it's like a place for them to go and have connection with other like-minded people. And then I'm doing it in rehabs as well, like one in Oxford where they like I'll put them in scenarios and they'll look at their behavior of how they were to their girlfriend or to their mum or whatever, and they'll see it and they'll be like, shit, I don't want to do that again. And they'll act out a different way, and they'll learn that they can, you know, act as a different, you know, a different outcome and different person, and be like a better person. And that's all through drama. And so I called it MAD, Morning After Drama, because we're all a bit mad.
Everyone's a bit mad.
Oh, that's amazing though, that it's given people such an escape route.
Yeah, it's a healthy escape.
Yeah, definitely.
So sorry about the long answer, but that's basically it. Yeah.
No, it's amazing. No, we wanted to hear all about it. So
yeah. So like, and it's free. Like no one has to pay.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Isn't that mad? Like I literally do it all for free.
That's amazing. Honestly, like,
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, I got to pay some bills soon, though, I swear. I've got a little boy, you know what I mean? And like, you know, it's hard, but the more people come, hopefully the more publicity we'll get and the more we'll grow. And hopefully the government will start giving us a bit of funding, because I think it's really important that people get to do, you know, creative stuff and use their creativity and their imagination much more than just kind of like, you know, on computers all the time or video games. And especially for teenagers, like I do one in Oxford, in Barton, in a really run down area, and these kids have been through a lot of trauma and stuff, and it's just great outlet for them, you know. I just think there needs to be a bit more funding for the arts and for mental health. I know, you know, we had a pandemic, but it does help.
Definitely, and I think even more so because of the pandemic.
Absolutely. You're right, Alex. Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Like, the reason I wanted to do your show, guys, is because I just love like what you do. And I loved like the fact that you guys got together and just thought, why not get creative, make a podcast and get this shit out there, you know? And like I say big up to you guys, and I'm proud of both of you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So nice.
That's so nice.
So much.
It's just about doing things that you enjoy, isn't it? Things that you're passionate about.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe you should come on my podcast, because I want to know more about you guys.
Yeah, we'll happily come on your podcast. Absolutely.
Love it.
Okay.
So just quickly before, because I know we're running out of time, but
you've got to play tennis in a minute.
You've been on two of my favourite shows, and those are Coach Trip and Big Brother. I'm absolutely obsessed with both of them. I cannot lie. Like, I watch them all the time. Same with Celebrity Big Brother. So I really want to know, like, the behind the scenes. Like, is it like what we see on the TV? And sort of like, yeah, your experience of both of those shows.
Yeah, well, so basically, like, briefly, like, Celebrity Big Brother for me was like amazing to get. It was such an achievement, because it's not easy to get on there. A lot of people want to do it, but you might not think that, but it is a really big privilege to go on there. And now it's not even, you know, they don't even have it anymore. So I'm so lucky I managed to do it. And for me, that was like the best show ever, because it was like, I'd been in rehab so many times. So it was a breeze being in there. Most people were like, I can't be trapped in here, I've got to go. And like, so even one of them did go, actually, because she was so addicted to her laptop, she didn't care about the money, she just wanted to leave. That was what's her name? You know, the Barbie type girl.
We wanted to talk to you about Trisha Paytas.
Trisha, yeah. Oh man, yeah. So I love her to bits. She's like one of me, like suffers with addiction and stuff, you know. And I know I really got on well with her. I don't know why I had so many haters when I came out. They didn't like me, but it was only because she was just always on my bed, and it pissed me off because that's where I slept. But anyway, what can you do? But she was cool. No, there were some really lovely people on there, and obviously I made really close friends with Sam and obviously like Sean Williamson, Barry from EastEnders, and stuff like that. And I had like Sandy on there from Gogglebox. So, and then obviously look what happened. Sarah Harding, man, another one, you know. And I knew she was struggling, and it wasn't easy. But yeah, that was an amazing show, man. And behind the scenes, well, I think what you see is what you get. They edit it a little bit, you know. Gemma Lucy was horrible, a bit nasty to me at times, but she was just trying to get a rise out of it, get on camera and hope that they used that footage. And they did. And she knew how to wind me up. She's good at reality TV. But, you know, they're all good people, and I still love her, you know, they're good guys. So behind the scenes, well, what you see is what you get really with that. But with Coach Trip, yeah, it was amazing. I was so lucky to be with Ashley. I didn't know who I was going to get. I didn't know I thought I'd be on my own traveling. But the worst thing about it was them voting every night. And it really was really hard. The rejection was very, very difficult to handle when you love everyone. Everyone's really cool to you in the day. And in the evening, they do the vote. And you can't believe that they're stabbing you in the back kind of thing. But, you know, you have to be thick-skinned and you have to kind of take it on the chin. The thing is, because no one had been away for a long time, the last thing you want is to be sent home when you're in a beautiful country and you just want to stay out there going to these hotels and doing these great activities. Brendan was a bit competitive. He's lovely, but he's a good man. He's a really good man. And like, I asked why he doesn't do other things, and he just said he doesn't need to. He just loves doing coach trip, and he doesn't put up with any shit. You know, Brendan's Brendan.
Oh, I love it though. Would you in terms of all the shows that you've done, are there ones that you, because obviously with ones like Big Brother, would you do ones like that again? Because it is coming back.
Yeah, what we hear is coming back. We don't know. I mean, I hear that they're going to do an all-star Love Island, which will be like all the like they're going to pick out the best people from Love Island over the years, even a celebrity one, and put them all together. So that's a possibility. And then the Big Brother, I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, of course I would, man. You know, I don't mind doing that stuff because I'm used to it. It's the ones I'm not sure of whether they're going to stitch you up or not. They're the ones that are difficult to know whether to do. First and foremost, I'm an actor and I need to stick to my guns with that. And like, I know nowadays you can do a bit of everything, but back in the day after Love Island, my acting career, you know, it didn't go very well because I made such a splash on that. The casting directors were very kind of like, oh no, he's that reality guy. And it's like, no, I'm not, I'm an actor. I've been doing it, 20 years. Like, what were you took just because I did that show? But so you have to be very careful,
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of when you've spoken about you want to kind of continue more down the acting side, have you got any upcoming new projects?
Basically, I have. I'm in the midst of writing a series called The Urge, and it's a bit like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, stroke Orange is the New Black, and it's based in a rehab, and it's really, really interesting, stroke Derek. So and that's kind of like my next big project. I did a film called Are We Dead Yet that actually got changed to The Living Dead that came out last year. I'll be doing probably Panto at the end of the year. And I just really concentrated mainly on the theatre company and and teaching the drama. And I did an audition on the weekend. I put myself on tape for this job in India, where I'm like a music producer. So I've always got auditions. It just depends. I'm just a jobbing actor, really. So, but that is my passion is doing films and dramas and stuff. But the reality stuff is just fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before we finish, do you have any advice for people that want to become an actor? Because we've got so many, our thing is all about up and coming people and sort of advice and what was your biggest advice for people that want to get into that industry?
I think never give up. There'll be a lot of no's and there'll be a lot of people saying, oh no, rejection and stuff. You've got to be thick-skinned, but train, always study your craft, constantly people watch, watch movies, watch series, study other actors and just constantly work on your craft, and you'll be all right. And maybe come to one of my drama schools and you can learn from the master. No, I'm only joking. No, I could teach you a few tricks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you so much to Paul for joining us today, and make sure you tune in next Friday for an episode, and all the links for everything you've spoken about will be in the description. So yeah, see you next week.
All right, thanks so much for having me, guys.
Oh, thank you.
It's been our pleasure.
Take care. See you soon.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.